Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the YouTube channel that talks about the cars and trucks. No, you're going this way, buddy. Let's go. Come on. Cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles and the dogs. And come on, no, get over here. Hey, well, channel this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Come on, Scout, get back over here. Boy, oh boy, back up here in Virginia. Got back in last night, and frickin' property. No power, neighborhood, no power. Starting to drag the tractor and a PTO out to get power to the house. So wild adventures. Long day. Wife drove the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I just love this Grand Wagoneer. This is such a nice vehicle. It really is. It's a great vehicle. And it's fast. Come on, let's go. Come on, Scout. I rode back with my wife in this vehicle last time we came back from Tennessee. And she was just hauling butt. I was like, a few times I was like, honey, you got to slow it down. You're in the state of Virginia. You know, you get to that 80 mile an hour mark, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, it gets radical up here in this Virginia area. So, wow. The road trip, the Bronco. So I rode back yesterday with the kid. Left a bunch of vehicles down there. Watching my channel, that F450. I hit a deer with it, so it's in the body shop. $10,000 is a quote I got yesterday on that hit, on that F450. 10 grand. Wow. See if Geico pays that bill, right? So, it's always with the road trips, but tell you what, the Jeep product, really loving Jeep product. If you see here, I've collected up Jeeps. You know, this year I've been about collecting Jeeps. I've got 3 Jeeps now. Come on, bud. Let's go. But the Bronco, wow, what a great vehicle. This Bronco is just so nice. And back to work, back to routine. I am slammed beyond slammed. I got to get, being just, yeah. So, anyways, so it's been an adventure every time we go down to Tennessee. Let's go, pups. And the adventure is something happens. You're going down, look at the shop. If you notice the driveway, it really has emptied out. If anybody's trying to follow my channel here, watch my channel. Come on, pups, let's go. Let's get in. Where's all the motorcycles, right? Gee whiz. It's all down in Tennessee. My mother-in-law's house started to look like my house. So anyways, let's get up here and get the morning going, pups. Come on, let's get to work. Go. Get them away. And, yeah, so every time we go to Tennessee now, you know, if you've watched me, like 3 weeks ago, I was driving down there to and the Ford Bronco had a major oil issue. And then I'm driving down the Ford F450 a week ago, this coming Wednesday, and I hit a deer. Now, the wife is driving back home. And like I say, we took separate vehicles. We leave at separate times. My wife likes to hang down there and talk to the mother. And, you know, so we usually always depart before she does. And so, I'm just getting going, man. And the power. Got to get my computer going now. Yeah. Sorry for the delay here. But anyways, so my wife's coming back home yesterday, and she just pulled over. And it's something. I was driving up 81. I had such an inclination because there was a motorcycle cop up there, just a little in the Wytheville area, a little south of Lexington, Virginia. And I mean, a motorcycle cop. I mean, this guy, you didn't see this guy. I mean, so wow. But I thought, you know, the wife would be all right, right? So she apparently didn't get pulled over by that person. And, you know, they just gave her a warning. So, because they looked at her driving record. I mean, she claims he just walked up and talked to her and looked at her license and then hit in the back and just said, you need to slow down. And I'm thinking, man, boy, oh boy, if you're a guy, anybody have it that easy? Usually you're there for 15, 20 minutes while they're doing a background search on you and trying to figure out, you know, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, does anybody know the story? So I thought that I saw this morning, boy, the male driver versus the female driver. I thought, hey, that's a great idea. That's a great topic. I mean, come on. Us men versus the women when it comes to driving cars and ride motorcycles. And I just thought to myself, hey, that's, and what are the statistics? And yeah, we know, I mean, but it's a fine line there, the statistics, but we know the men typically crash cars more typically per se, but not really. Actually, men don't crash as much as women per se for the amount of men that drive on the road. It's more about women have as far as statistics go, women actually crash more, but men typically have the deadly crashes because they're the faster drivers. So, so that's where it kind of separates itself, and that's where the insurance rates kind of change and everything. Where typically, if you're a male driver, you pay more. And once again, for us male versus female, I mean, as well as it's the hidden competition in the family. Who drives who around? In many families, the man drives the woman around, but I see a lot of women as well drive the men around. And I mean, because there's some really great drivers out there, right? And so, once again, I just thought to myself this morning, I was like, wow, so I wonder what the ratio of car crashes, speeding tickets. So it's interesting. I actually pulled up some information. Usually I don't really go to my phone for information, but I just think this is pretty good information for all us, anybody out there that's interested in listening. And so apparently there's 32 million drivers per year that get violations each year. Oh, I gotta go back to my wife though. So I told my wife, I said, "Hey, did he get you for a front no tag? See, in Virginia, you're supposed to have a front tag in your vehicle, displayed somewhere, windshield, front grille, wherever. So, but that's not a first offense. That's a minor offense, secondary offense." I said, "Did he get you for the front tag?" She's like, "No." I said, "Did he get you for the window tint?" He's like, "No." I said, "What did he get you for the guns?" She said, "Guns?" I said, "I loaded a bunch of guns up in that car. You didn't know that, did you?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Good thing you didn't do a search." So anyways, going back here to the statistics of us men versus women. So anyways, 32 million drivers have pulled over a year. Your odds are 1% of getting pulled over in a 12-month period. But it says men get more speeding tickets. And this is now Minnesota State Patrol. So this isn't like the national thing. So keep that in mind. I'm just kind of taking a general thing here. And so here's what's really interesting now. Studies showed individuals who are between the age of 50 and 64 are most likely to have received a speeding ticket in the last 5 years. And it says, in addition to this, 70% of drivers of this age group have received at least one speeding ticket in their lifetime. So I can relate with that because I can so remember coming up Route 81 in 2018, and I got a horrendous speeding ticket. Bad. Down there in Lexington, Virginia. I drove my daughter through the town of Lexington, the Virginia Military Institute, yesterday because traffic got locked down in 81 and they rerouted us through Lexington, and we drove right by the courthouse, and I went to court to fight my reckless driving ticket. It gets radical in Virginia. So, beautiful town though, but I just told my daughter, it's like, hey, this is Virginia Military. This is where parents send off their kids and tell them, you got to behave better. Anyways, but drivers in the 30 to 49-year-old range are the most ticketed. That's interesting. And those with more than $75,000 a year incomes also. But here's the real kicker. Millennials are the most dangerous drivers. Wow. I mean, so you millennials, you 27 to 42-year-old drivers out there, you're the most dangerous. The baby boomers, my age, borderline, currently between 60 and 77, were found to be the safest. Wow. Let's see here. I'm just kind of going through. And so then I thought to myself, what about, this is what's really kind of intriguing. But here's the thing about the man, come on, does anybody that's a married man, who doesn't have the conversation, in the house. So, the woman versus the man driver, and who's the better of the two. And then, it's for a married couple. You don't want, wife's calling me. I do these morning videos. I just don't know why she's doing this, but, So, anyways, but then what kind of got me even more intrigued to think about something I never even thought much about. Because we're in such this male-female sports, and we're witnessing the males wanting to play in female sports. And I got to think to myself, wow, is car racing, like drag racing especially, but car racing in general, is that kind of gender neutral, meaning it doesn't really matter. You can play, you can, I guess, say, compete in motor sports. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. Isn't that something? I never even thought of that. I mean, somebody else could probably reach out and say, well, that's true, but there's some other sports where women and men compete with each other. But I think to myself, like tennis. Do you watch the U.S. Open or the French Open? Or, what do you watch where have you witness, like men in the women's league? I mean, I don't see that. Have you seen men in the softball? I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about the transgender thing. I'm just saying in general, do you see men playing in women's PGA, or whatever it is, the women's LPGA golf or whatever? How about the PGA and the LIV thing merging together? PGA ran out of money. That's the bottom line. They merged. If you're not following golf, PGA got gobbled up by LIV or however you want to word it. But PGA point blank said they just didn't have the resources to continue to battle with the Saudi Arabia backed golf league. So they finally decided just to merge to make it one, which, it sounds like it's a win for the players. It sounds like the players are going to make even more money. But anyways, you think about baseball, then you have softball. You think about football, then you have flag football, tended to kind of cater to the women. Lacrosse. I mean, you can go through the list of sports, basketball, that are divided for the man or the boy versus the girl or the man versus women. But then when it comes to motorsports, especially drag racing, look at Leah Pruitt, look at Brittany Force, look at Erica Sanders. I mean, look at Bunny Burkhardt. I can't even name Danica Patrick. I can't even name all the women that have competed in men's, car racing, motorsports, and it's a pretty long list. And I just thought to myself this morning, wow, that I think is the only sport. I mean, even I'm thinking to myself right now, in the Kentucky Derby, has there been a female jockey? I don't even know. I mean, I'm not a big, Kentucky. I'm a big horse racing fan. That's even more intriguing. Has there been a woman? Probably has, I would imagine, right? I mean, I don't know. But is that something where, no, the women aren't allowed in that sport to do that? Just like polo. Isn't polo more the men's league? So for the car enthusiast, wow, isn't that a statement? Hey, us car enthusiasts, we're pretty nice people. Because it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what gender you are. If you want to come racing, come on in. I mean, that pretty cool? Could we just say, for us car enthusiasts, that we're the hip people because we don't call out people by the way they look or the gender they are? I mean, come on. Wow. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I think all of us should put our hats off for the bald guy here to tip our hats for just acknowledging that we're a very open racing league, right? Wrong? Now, when it comes into the circuit bike racing, cafe style, I don't know. There's, what kind of defines that, right? So in that aspect, I don't know. Motocross racing, so, and that's where I think that's what's interesting is in our car sports, you're in a car and it's all about your skills and reflexes, and your strength to a degree. But then, like as I just mentioned, you get into the motocross and the cafe style road racing, those types of things. That's incredible strength and endurance. And so I guess that's where you could say the separation starts to become between the man and woman competing in the same sport is when it gets into that really physical aspect of it. So that's what's really cool about the motorsports of cars and trucks, that you don't have to be this incredibly strong individual. You just have to have these natural talents, which that's really a statement of being able to enjoy and have fun, and the attributes that you can bring to the sport, which I think is just really neat. So, what other statistics do we have here? I had some other statistics too that talks about the insurance industry. Of course, we talked about that earlier, but as well as I do, it is interesting that when you're young guy, and you go want to get insurance for a car, yeah. How does that play out when you tell me you're buying a Corvette? Besides, they quote you such a stupid number that you can't even get insurance. And then yet for the young ladies, that's the argument. There is an argument out there that to a degree, women do crash more than men. But it's not horrific crashes. Usually it's a much lower statistic of women dying behind the wheel of a car than men. It's like double. It's like at least double or triple. I think it's like 37,000 men died last year annually, and whatever it may be, and like 14,000 women die. So it's a huge spread on the and we all know it's the male aggressive behaviors of how we push ourselves to stupid limits, and then we get ourselves in trouble. And women just seem to have more common sense of, I guess you could say, knowing their boundaries better than men. And they don't push themselves to extremes that they know that they're going to get themselves in trouble. I mean, I guess it gets deeper than that, right? And so anyways, it's just all about us drivers and driving up and down the road every day of our life. And Jesus Christ, for me, I live on the road. And one thing they say is one reason men are a higher statistic of getting speeding tickets is because they are on the road. Men tend to drive more than women, which that's and then you kind of go into truck drivers. Even though there's a lot of women truck drivers out there, so it isn't but just an overall the aspect of the industry of delivery drivers, it's just more caters to the men versus to the women. And so that's why men are actually more exposed, and that's the whole point. Men get more tickets, and men can be per se in more accidents, but it's because they're the higher percentage of the drivers. So I wonder who here has the family. My wife's texting me something. It's called the distraction. It's right. Who's distracted driving around the road? So here's the thing. Yesterday, my mother-in-law called my daughter in the car and said she had a secret. She said that and my daughter's like, "Hey, there's a secret." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm just like, "Yeah." So she's like, "Oh, Mom got pulled over. Will she tell you?" I'm like, "I'm not asking. I'm not asking." I mean, I get that. Anybody's gotten pulled over by a police officer, it definitely does change your behavior for a while of you driving down the road for a while. Traffic yesterday at 81 was pretty respectable, and I just know from driving these roads all the time, I just kind of know. And in the state of Virginia, I'm telling you right now, it's a 70-mile-an-hour posted speed limit on 81. And if you go by a cop at 80, the odds are they're not going to come get you. It's once you hit that 82 miles an hour, wonder who did that, they come get you. Because it's anything over 80 miles an hour in the state of Virginia, it can get radical. Yeah. And it's at 20 miles an hour, any posted speed limit, it gets radical. It turns into a reckless driving ticket. Yeah. Ask me how I know. So anybody drives here in the state of Virginia, just so you know, it's a public record of you getting tarnished like you can't believe. If you come up through the state of Virginia 81 and you're doing 85, 90 miles an hour, you get pulled over, you're going to court. You have no option. You're going to court. If you don't, you're going to have a reckless driving ticket and a criminal charge against you. And it could be a criminal conviction against you. Yes. Wow. Yeah, how do I know these things? Yeah, I live on the road every day of my life. Yeah, so coming back yesterday, had the Bronco wrapper. That thing is so nice. That thing just rock and rolls. And it's just incredible. It seems like that black wrapper I have, it seems like it's a little quieter. It's like the cabin, I don't know what it is. And I think I'm delusional on this. I just think the interior of that vehicle is a little quieter than my Cactus Gray one. I don't know if I ever told you a story about the windshield cracking on that, or shipping that Cactus Gray down there in Florida when I first took it down last year. And I never fixed it. And then the dealership, when I turned it in to trade it, had a little nick in the windshield. And I argued with them, like, don't change it. Don't change it. It's just tell the new owner that it's not worth it. You're going to get shipped. So I changed out the windshield. And sure enough, when they sold that vehicle and the salesman drove it to Richmond, Virginia, a person bought it in Richmond, Virginia, like a mile from the person's delivery, a big old rock hit the windshield and cracked it like you can't believe. So that vehicle went through 2 windshields replacements within a 30-day time frame from the time I let that go. Who doesn't know these stories of the freaking chipped windows? And you're supposed to do, if you have to pay for it out of your pocket, wow. State of Florida, if you have Florida registration, you don't pay for it. You just pay through your insurance premiums that you pay through the roof. So you live here in the state of Virginia, it's all on you and your deductible, whatever you have for a deductible. And since I have so many cars, I have $1,000 deductible because there are just too many cars. The insurance just gets too expensive. It's through the roof. You can only imagine, all right, busy day, just too much going on for me. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, it just doesn't end. So for me, just kind of keeping it simple. And lots of conversations, lots of things to talk about. The battery follow-up, Tesla's now the dominant charging station infrastructure. That's all starting to happen. I mean, just so many things to talk about, but I just don't have time. I'm just slammed. I got to go. But I just like to keep my morning conversation, just say hi and just throw ideas out there. And once again, for anybody out there that can think of another sport that men and women compete against, does pool. I think pool. I mean, I think billiards. I think it is, right. I mean, I don't think so in bowling, but where is the male-female competition in sports other than in the motorsports? And interesting, down there at Bristol, Tennessee, they had the big, Valley, NHRA, Thunder Valley, and we didn't even go. I didn't have time. That is so much time to do that. And apparently, Leah Pruitt on Friday night took honors for following up from the New England Nationals that got rained out. So apparently Leah Pruitt, but Justin Ashley apparently took top honors and top fuel, whatever it is. It's just, oh my gosh. But once again, incredible how a year ago I was down there, I lived down there for 4 days of watching racing. In fact, I think I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I burned the kid out. The kid this time was like, yeah, I'd go, Dad, but maybe for 1 day. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I just had too many other honey to do projects and just too many other things going on to make that all work, if you know what I mean. Everybody kind of gets all that. So anyways, everybody out there thinks of another sport that women are involved with men competing head-to-head. Look at Angie Smith, who's the motorcycle dragster racer. And there's a few other that are just really incredible motorcycle drag racers. So Angie Smith, pretty cool girl. She last year competed into the last round, and she actually honored her father. She was in tears from just because her father helped her get where she was, and he's no longer with her. And it was such a tribute to him that day, and I was kind of wishing she would have won that, but she didn't. But it was just a pretty emotional thing to kind of see her there on the track, honor her father, and for what he helped her accomplish. For these ladies out there, these men that have influence in women's lives and women's as well. So anyways, everybody, thanks again for watching my channel. Appreciate all nice comments, support, share the channel, and have a great day. I'm slammed beyond slammed, and what's going to happen next? Who the hell knows? I don't know. Whatever. Something will happen, right? So have a great day. God bless. Stay safe and stay tuned.